child, and I'm going to be talking about homeschooling through the holidays successfully. Because I've heard from a lot of you moms, it's like overwhelmed. We can't keep our focus on what the main thing is. We can't find time to do everything. We're trying to stay on track. We're trying to do this, that, or the other. And you have just all become overwhelmed and stressed out. So I want to give you some specific activities and ideas that you can use as well to be able to homeschool successfully. And this is a lot of the ideas are going to have to do with Christmas, but at the same time, I want to begin with some ideas for Thanksgiving. So as you pop on, leave a comment and just tell us what state you're in, and then let us know, that you're here. Now, let me just tell you, Thanksgiving, I have 21 days of Thanksgiving ideas. We are on week number 2, and we already have 3 freebies that you can get, and they are ideas like gratitude journal, which goes directly into writing. You can use that for a writing activity in November. A thankful jar, which actually does critical thinking, Bible, and art, because you can decorate the jar. And then we have our 30-day gratitude challenge. Today we actually, one of the resources that came out for free are 25 activities to serve others as a family. What a great opportunity to build character. So we have the 21 days of Thanksgiving blog posts, and so we're only on number 2. We got 3.5 more weeks to go, and you're going to get a lot. So if you go to howtohomeschoolmychild.com/blog, you can get actually every single day we post one of the activities, you'll get an email, and it will actually have it all right there, and you don't even have to remember to come back. So when you get to my blog, look on the right hand side at the top. There's a place you can sign up, and we will send you all the activities as well. So that is a few ideas as far as Thanksgiving and integrating Thanksgiving. I'm not going to be as specific about that. I did some of that back in October on my weekend takeover, and you can go and find that blog video, the top picks video. Hello, Teresa from Montana. Oh, cool. It's probably cold there. It actually got hot here. Let's see. A week ago, it actually fell in Texas to the 40s, which is really cold for October. Anyway, what I want to talk to you today about is Christmas. Yes, I know we have the fall theme behind me, but I do want to talk a little more about Christmas because it's going to be here. As soon as Thanksgiving is over, we can just become inundated with all the things we have to do when it comes to Advent and Christmas. So one of the things I really encourage moms to do, and the reason I encourage that is this is the best advice I was ever given. It was by a fellow homeschool mom, and she says, we quit homeschooling from Thanksgiving to Christmas. And I was like, okay. So what I discovered is there are so many things we can do with the idea, the holiday of Advent and Christmas and Epiphany, that we can integrate math and writing and history and science. So I'm going to show you a few of those ideas today. I will tell you that next week I will be doing, right here at Top Picks, a video tutorial. I think it's 5 Eat Your Way Through Christmas School activities, and I will actually demonstrate exactly how you can do those. So watch, Heather will be posting when all those classes are next week. So hopefully that will be encouraging. My kids love to learn if there was food involved. So one of the biggest things we can do, and I'm going to talk first with some of the easier subjects, and then we'll move into some of the harder subjects to integrate. The first one is reading, and I've shared this book. I'm going to share some others as well, and that is Jotham's Journey. We love it because it really gets our kids focused on Jesus. It's set at the time of the birth of Jesus, and so you can read it every day in Advent. It actually tells you, so let's see, this says week 2 of Advent, Wednesday, and you read the little story here, and then at the end, there's a little bit something that you can discuss, and it actually has Advent through the years all the way to 2076, so you can actually figure out when it starts and when Christmas Eve is and all of that kind of thing. So that's one thing. Teresa says, it is cold. We got about 6 inches of snow. I remember being in Idaho, Halloween Day. We were doing a Reformation party, first year in Idaho, and it starts snowing. I was like, oh, wow. Okay, I'm just going to show some fun books, but these are books you can read with your kids. They can narrate back to you what happened. They can copy work from some of these things. There's lots of things you can do with books. Peter Byers' Christmas, and really there are no words. The other cool thing about this is imagination. Your kids could actually narrate what is in each one of these pictures. Then they could actually write it in a journal, or you could type what they say and then they could use it for copy work. So they could actually tell the story. That is a lot of critical thinking, but it's also something fun. And if they're not saying, okay, here, you need to write about this picture, write about that picture. No, they just talk and get your computer or whatever, and then let them dictate to you, and then you write down what it is. You could use it for copy work. You could use it for writing, and they could go back and edit it and turn it into a really narrative story as well. Here's another one I love, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Now, I will just tell you, How the Grinch Stole Christmas has a lot of biblical values that you could teach. I was going to look for one of my things here. Here we go. That is one of the books that we include in the Christmas unit study for preschool and kindergarten. And each book, there's 7 or 8 days here. You get a book, and then you get activities to go along with it. The countries all have songs. Every book has an Eat Your Way Through School activity. I don't remember what the Grinch one is, but every single one of them has something that is food. You can see here is Germany, and that is a Christmas tree out of a snow cone. And then here is St. Nicholas Day, so that's a celebration day as well. So that's a fun one. Then we have some biblical ones. These are just ones I picked up at the bookstore along the way, but this is a good one from God with Love that actually tells the Christmas story. We used to give this away when we would take a Thanksgiving dinner. Follow the Star, my mother made this for us, and it tells the Christmas story. You could read something like this. If you're crafty, you might want to make something like that. Just go to Joann's or Hobby Lobby, and I'm sure they have some things like that. All right, here's another one. Shock of all shocks, La Navidad. If your kids are learning Spanish, I bought this to help learn Spanish because it's a great way to integrate. And we're talking super simple. Estos son Maria y Jose. There they are, Marie and Jose. I'm not the greatest Spanish speaker, but I can at least get the point across. I say mucho tiempo. They have a lot of time. Maria and Jose vivían en Nazaret. They have a lot of time to have lived in Nazareth. But you could practice your Spanish just by using a very simple Spanish picture book that's tied into Christmas. Now, here are some fun ones. I need to get these out for my grandkids as well. Let's Peek in Santa's Sack. My kids loved it because there was always a hole. And it was just a fun little book. But you could read this even with your elementary, or if you have elementary kids, let them read these easy picture books out loud to their preschool younger siblings. And that is good practice for them to read out loud as well. Now, here are a few, let me get this picture book first. One more picture book. I love this. This is also, I think this is in the preschool unit, and you could use it also in our Christmas Around the World. I'll show you that in a minute. The Legend of the Candy Cane, and it talks about the story of how the candy cane and the red and white comes, how they get it and all. Let's see if we can find the candy maker. Nope, she's at the candy store. There we are, the candy maker. And in the end, they tell the story of the red and the white. The red is the blood of Jesus. The white is cleansing from our sins. And it's a great picture. There are some really fun activities in the preschool unit. There are ways that you can eat. You could do banana slices and strawberries and tie that in there. But we also have some science experiments that go along. So those are a few of the ideas as far as books are concerned. Another thing you might do is choose a Christmas storybook. This is from Joe Wheeler, who tells great stories. And these are just short stories that you could read out loud at nighttime. They're great for those kinds of things. The other thing I would recommend is A Christmas Carol or The Best Christmas Pageant Ever. If you have older kids, they ought to be reading A Christmas Carol on their own and keeping a reading journal. So that would be reading, that would be writing, it would be critical thinking, because they would write about Scrooge. What's going on in Scrooge's head? Why is he acting the way he is? What are the changes that we see? So even high schoolers, I mean, sometimes we think all these picture books, we're only talking to little kids. You can, and even when my kids are in high school, we quit at Thanksgiving and we picked up. And yes, they were doing algebra and chemistry and biology and all those other things. But we quit. We needed a break. And plus, I wanted to focus on what was most important. And one of those things is building relationships with us, serving other people during that Thanksgiving and Christmas time. I wanted my kids to be other focused instead of me focused, commercialism focused. Even in high school, we had to deal with that. So I mentioned another thing, and then I'm going to show you a book, and that is my Christmas Around the World unit study that actually goes through 5 countries. It also and gives you activities and books to read as well. It also has poems and movies and those kinds of things. I'm not going to show you. I have a video and I will link it here so you can see all the insides of these pictures. Christina, we got a nice storybook from the Library of Christmas Short Stories. Well, if you think of the name of it, put it on here, and then people could actually look at the library as well. One of the things that is not included in our Christmas Around the World unit study, but I want to mention it here, is Christmas in Noisy Village. And I probably am going to add this because we are actually completely redoing this Christmas Around the Unit study. I have an assistant and she is redoing it in our platform. We're in our shopping cart so that it's a little easier to pull out each country. And so this is Christmas in Noisyland, and this is all about Sweden. And it was a book I found after I actually wrote that book. So I'm probably hopefully in the next week or two, I'll be adding Sweden activities as well. So that is that. Now I have completely gone off my notes, so let me find them. I will say, I forgot to tell you, I have a flash giveaway and a flash sale. We have a flash giveaway, and that is whoever wins will get to choose whatever ebook in our holiday store. And I forgot to put the link in there, I think. One ebook in our holiday store. This is Monday. We will give it all the way till Friday for you to be able to enter for that giveaway. And all you need to do is go look at the holiday ebooks, come back here and tell us which ebook you would like to win and why you would like to win it. So there's one. That's a giveaway. The other thing, before I keep moving on, is we have I've not done this. I've never done this in this group. I've never done this anywhere. For 24 hours, you can save 50% off any of our ebooks in the holiday store. If you buy one and you win the giveaway, we'll refund your money. So don't worry about that. If there are ebooks in that holiday store, look at the description here on this video and you can save 50% on any ebook in our holiday store. And I will put the link later. I'm not really good. No, I would really mess this up if I did that. Okay, so we've got Christmas Around the World. We've talked about Christmas, preschoolers, and we've talked about books and all of that kind of thing, narration. Let me get to writing. Another thing that you might do is pick a picture book like The Night Before Christmas and let your kids use that for copy work, maybe copying one page each day, and then they have completely written The Night Before Christmas. And I have a copy of that somewhere. You may even do that for How the Grinch Stole Christmas. They're not really long pages, so you could let them copy it. And as you do that, let them talk about, again, this is based off A Christmas Carol. Why is the Grinch a real Grinch, you know? And so you could talk about the character issues as well. Another thing that I have on my blog is a St. Lucia. That is December 13th, a St. Lucia writing activity. So there are a lot of celebrations that you could turn into writing activities. And I also have, how do you write thank you letters? I don't know about you, but after Christmas, my kids all had to write thank you letters to whoever gave them a gift. And they complained the entire time. But they have all told me now as adults, we are so thankful, Mom, that you made us write thank you letters. We are just so thankful. And I have a video on giving gratitude back from 2 weeks ago. I'll actually put a link in here as well. But I'll give you some more information. But on my blog, we also have a printable that you can get for free. And it's an outline of how you teach your kids how to write thank you letters. You might use Christmas words for spelling or for vocabulary, that type of thing. I've talked about the Christmas Around the World. The other thing we can do is take some of those celebrations through the year, St. Nicholas Day, St. Thomas Day, St. Lucia Day, all of these different people that we honor, and we could learn where they came from. We could study the history. You can look at the Bible. What was their character like? You can find some books that go along with that as well. You could look at some of the symbols. What's the history of our Christmas tree, our Yuletide log, the candles, the lights? Why do we have the lights? I'm just going to read these because I'll forget some of them. Candy canes, Christmas carols, Christmas cards. Why do we send Christmas cards? What is the history of that? An Advent wreath and candles, mistletoe, poinsettias, the Christmas pudding, mince pies. What is the history? What is the point to all of those? You could spend time looking at 1 year or maybe even multiple years at all those symbols of Christmas. And then as you study it, your kids could talk about it. They could write about about it. They could read books about it. There's a lot of things you can do with all the symbols. One thing I've done to make it a little bit easier for you is Christmas celebrations. Celebrate Advent, Christmas, Epiphany with your family. And this actually goes through all 3 seasons. Advent from Thanksgiving to right before Christmas. Christmas, let's say the week of Christmas, and Epiphany, the 12 days after Christmas until we talk about the wise men. That would be something that would give you some helps if that is what you would like to do. Now, let's talk about math. Oh, math. I've had people say math is the hardest thing for you to integrate. So I've got a few ideas. One of the things we actually did every Christmas was bake, and that seems pretty obvious, but we took it a step further to learn more about math and actually to learn about business, to get some real life skills as well. Every November and December, my children sold pumpkin bread, mini loaves of pumpkin bread, and chocolate chip cookies. So they would take orders. They would have to decide how much supplies they needed. We would go to the store. They would need the money. They'd have to figure out that money. They would buy their supplies. They would come home. They would either double, quadruple, triple, whatever the recipe is, and then bake it. Then they would have to deliver it. They would collect the money and give change, and they would keep tally. And they would pay me back for all the supplies. But this activity had a real purpose to it as well. It wasn't just to go bake and for my children to make money. You see, they took the money they earned and they bought Christmas gifts for a missionary family that was overseas that maybe couldn't afford certain gifts for their kids. We would choose one family. We would take that family. I would talk to the mom and I would find out what is something that your kids would like or you would like for your kids that you can't get right now. And so we would do that. One time we bought dress-up clothes for 2 little, I think they were like 4 and 6-year-olds. And I took the kids after they got their profit. You see, they collected their money. They paid me back. And then we had profit. And they said, okay, it's going to cost this much to send the, to mail the gifts. And I can't remember, they were somewhere in a little country near China. Anyway, so they did that, figure out how much does it cost, and then we go shopping and buy whatever we had with the leftover money. And that was how many gifts they could actually buy. We'd come home, we'd wrap the gifts, put them in a box, all drive to the post office. That's an extensive math lesson, but there's a lot. If you have preschoolers, they could count the money. They could even just count the coins as you collect the coins and then add them up. Let's say we've got, oh my gosh, sorry, we're having trouble playing this video. I hope that's not true at all. I don't know what's wrong. Huh. Well, let me see if I'm online.